Every week, a new band. Brought to you by NZ On Air. Active Live! Yeah.
I'm sorry, little kids, but I'm a killer clown today. I could say
Yo, what's up?
spray. I'm from Brooklyn, that's alright. But
Deathtrippa on Active Live, baby. Let's do it.
But let me just say this. I'm not gonna stab you in the heart.
Shout out to 04 Hardcore, Luther, Brainwave, Cold War, for the show love to the Fado. Let's do this. You're gonna be moshing at home, in your car. Mosh, where the fuck you at? Where the heck you at? Walk the slave for the machine. Time to the end my skin. This time I will let it win. I'm feeling this. Don't give it, make me feel more oblivious. We'll do this. We'll do this. We'll do this. Ready by the way, we'll stand. We are the bride of Eve. Thank you.
Kia ora koutou katoa, kei te whakaronga mai koe ki te Radioactive FM and today's active live session made with support from New Zealand On Air. I'm Amidia and we're joined live in studio by, of course, Deathtrippa.
Yo, what's up?
How's it going?
I'm pretty good, not too shabby. How about yourself?
Good, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for coming all the way in today, guys. My first question has to be, tell the listeners about this headwear you've got on today.
Oh, this hat. I actually just picked it up from Mr. Thank You on Manor Street just before. Yeah, this one's like, I mean, if you're listening on the radio, you can't see it, but bunny hat, real fluffy. This one's like more rainbowy. I used to have another one, which I took on tour with me, used to wear, which was white. Fell on the ground at a dirty venue. It's like
R.I.P.
Yep, and yeah, I don't know, it was grey. It went from white to grey. So it's also like, because this one you can press
Yeah, that's awesome.
the things and the ears go up. One of them snapped while I was on tour, so only one of the ears worked, and I got to have both of them working, so yeah.
It looks so cozy. How has this just always been part of the look?
Nah. So I got it. Yeah, I got the first one from Mr. Thank You on Manners as well. Shout outs, Mr. Thank You. I saw it and I was like, man, I should just get this and just wear it. Looks cool. And like, I used to play with this DJ called Shay. He moved down to Nelson and he plays in a band down there called Sawn Off. And he would always wear balaclavas on stage or like ski masks. And he would look like so menacing, and then I'd be like the angel to his devil. And, I got the cute hat on. But, yeah.
It really, like, the visuals match the audio perfectly.
Oh, thank you.
And so, speaking of playing live, you're freshly back in the country from your tour of the US.
Yes, yep. It's good
How
to be
was
back.
it?
It was wild. It was, yeah, America, like, man, like, I love the shows, and the people who I met at the shows were, like, some of the best people I've ever met. And it's weird to go to another country and, like, have people, like, know about my music and come with, like, physicals and being like, yo, can you sign this and stuff? Like, that was
Yeah.
insane. But the country itself, scary. It's so scary. Like, oh my gosh. Like, yeah, I played 9 shows in America, and then I played 1 show in Tokyo after that. And it was crazy because it's like my Nihongo is like terrible. Like, did 2 years of Japanese in school, and yeah, could not speak the language very well. But I had more culture shock going to America and dealing with normal everyday Americans than like going to Japan, which was wild because you wouldn't think that from another Western country. But yeah.
Crazy, yeah. It's a weird place. Were there any sort of highlights of the tour? There were some bizarre venues, including a laundromat.
Yeah, played a laundromat. Yeah, the best thing about it was all the DIY spaces and spots that people just put on punk and hardcore shows over there. Like, it's very inspiring. Like, I'm a big fan of DIY punk and hardcore, and I kind of like cut my teeth doing that stuff. And, you know, I've watched so many videos online of like hardcore shows in America in the most like random places. So it's pretty surreal, like being able to go to these places and actually doing it. Yeah, the show in Ohio, in Columbus, Ohio, the laundromat show there was like the best show of tour, I think, as far as reception. It was crazy. But yeah, played that, played a coffee shop, played at like an abandoned staircase factory, played a warehouse, played someone's basement. Yeah, I think some of the worst shows on the tour were ones where they were in like actual bars. But yeah.
And there was some all ages gigs throughout there as well. What was that like?
Yeah, most of the shows I think I did in America were all ages. Most of them no drugs and no alcohol, and it's cool. Like when it, you know, in Wellington in particular, like we haven't really had many all ages shows. You know, like the only place I really see doing them these days is like Thistle Hall and sometimes Ara Valley at Ara Hall. So it's cool. Like, it's inspiring to see a bunch of young kids. Like at the laundromat show, there were like so many just like 14 to 16-year-old just kids just coming, loving the music and just like getting down. And it's just like awesome to see people like finding a home in that community. I think it's very inspiring. Like, it definitely reminded me of like Zeal days back when I was 14, 15, going to hardcore shows and just seeing people just like beat the crap out of each other and be like, this is for me. Like, this is what I want to be doing, you know? So it's awesome to see like secondhand just people having that moment overseas, you know? But yeah.
Awesome. Well, would you like to play another song for us now?
Yeah, sure.
Or a few.
Yep.
Some tunes.
Ready?
1, 2, 3, go.
The system consumes our voice. This will go the place. For us to second. What I think I'd rather take. I hope I never see your face again. Throw me away, give me a break. I don't know, I just do something I've been telling you over and over again. I just This is what you wanted! Oh God, get me caught up in my head. You really think I have a problem? Oh God, what the hell is this?
Man, I get my what? Top of the block, man, I get dropped cause I'm top of the beat. Don't give a fuck, I give a fuck with me. Don't give a fuck, 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 give a fuck.
Okay, it's full regret for my own choices. I can feel my stomach burning. Mentally indoors only seems to grow as my soul becomes
I can't believe you've done that.
I can keep living my life when there's nothing like this. Losing my friends in the process. I can put everything through the pain and I can run. It is good to. But it will always keep me shackled as every step becomes harder. Just because you've taken your own life. You're nothing! You're a fucking body!
Apologies, I keep forgetting not to swear, but my bad, guys. My bad.
This is Active Live on Radioactive FM. We have Deathtrippa in studio with us today. Obviously, you can feel the ground vibrating. This must be kind of an interesting way to perform with just like 2 songs and then we're chatting and no one else in the room. Like, what is that like for you guys right now?
It's whiplash, I think. Turning it on and then turning it off is pretty wild. It's fun though. I'm having so much fun. It's
Glad
great.
to hear
It's
it.
awesome.
My next question is sort of a basic one, but one that seems important for you guys. What genre is Deathtrippa?
That's a good question. Yeah, Otis is saying digital hardcore. He wants me to be factually correct. I've been known to use the term cybergrind. Technically, to your average Reddit user, it's not cybergrind. I don't know. Someone will see this online and be like, actually, it's not cybergrind. Yeah, I don't know. I've always I started calling it like rave metal or like just, technically it's digital hardcore. It's like hardcore music mixed with digital aspects, angry computer music, anything you want to call it, The best things about like combining metal and electronic music is both of them are so good at pigeonholing things into subgenres. And there's so many subgenres of metal and electronic music. So that definitely doesn't get tiring.
Yeah, you get to make your own. How did the sound come about?
It's a good question. I think like this started as like a lockdown project for me. I just wanted to make like aggressive music and music people could mosh to without using like any real drums. So none of the recordings have real drums on them. It's all programmed, and I just get my lovely man Otis in here to come and play it to bring the energy live. But I just wanted to make something moshable and heavy with no guitars or no real drums and just synths and drum machines. And I didn't think people would really care when I put it out. I was playing in this other band, this hardcore band, which doesn't exist anymore, called Severed Beliefs, and I used to play drums in that band. And that was kind of my main thing. And I put this out, and then people started caring. I was like, oh, I'll just run with it. And, it's taken me here to the Active Live.
Not just people, so many people, and tweeted about by Anthony Fantano.
Yeah, that was wild. Especially, like, I don't know, I was big on Fantano when I was, like, 15, 14, 15, is how I found out about, Death Grips and, like, really got me into, like, Kendrick Lamar and stuff. I remember when he put out that To Pimp a Butterfly review, and that was a big thing, and Danny Brown, and yeah, there's so many artists who I wouldn't like if I never watched his channel, and then it was like, he actually listened to it and retweeted my music, which was like, never thought that would happen in my life, so that stuff,
Yeah, that is really cool. And this is such like a bizarre sort of subgenre that you found yourself in from the get-go, though. How have you persisted with that for 3 years, or has it changed?
I think over the 3 years since I started, I've gotten a lot more into like electronic music, and I've definitely fallen in love with like jungle and like 140 and more than just gabba. I like that first release was really just like gabba infused hardcore. And I think like around the time that I started doing the Deathtrippa stuff, I got really into making like boom bap hip hop beats as well. There's been a couple of songs where that's kind of snuck its way into it as well, and I think at this point now, it's just about mixing everything I like together, and it coming out as like an end product. So it's like, chucking some like grime part, or like chucking like a jungle section, or chucking like a dubstep section, and then a grindcore section or a hardcore section. So yeah, it's been constantly evolving. I think subtly, it's kind of stuck to the game plan, but different influences have kind of crept in there over time.
When you're creating, do you have like sort of a final product view, or do you sort of just see where things take you and try this and that? And
It depends. I think some songs I've just been like awake at 2 a.m. and just been like start something and then hyperfixate for ages and then it comes out as something. Others I'll have like a game plan. I'll be like, yo, I want to mix like Memphis hip hop with like breakdowns and see if I can make that work. So sometimes it's like the whole combinational creativity thing. Grab two things which are completely opposite ends of the spectrum musically and find some musical midpoint between them. Maybe it's the beats per minute, maybe it's the rhythms. And then just see how it turns out. But
that must be so much fun as a project and getting these random ideas.
yeah, it's definitely pretty. It feels pretty like limitless with what I can do with it. And I think, especially with my last EP compared to the one before that, I think I definitely made quite a statement for every song to have quite different vibes, and I think it's kind of set up the expectation that I could do anything random and people will just roll with it because it's just what they expect. When I think with like a lot of heavy artists, they get a lot of backlash. Bro, just taking a photo.
Love to see it.
Is there anything you want to add, Otis? Hell yeah, hell yeah. Yeah. I've lost track of what we were talking about, but yeah, totally what you said. Yeah,
Yeah,
what
yeah,
I said
yeah,
too.
obviously. Well, before you play your next song, then you've blended so many genres, so many random things. Is there like an artist, album, song that you're kind of obsessed with at the moment that you think would really shock people who hear or listen to your music? Like you're actually a huge Troye Sivan fan or something.
I mean, it's definitely stuff that I love. I'm trying to think. I feel like, I mean, like, I love Pink Panthers. Pink Panthers goes hard. What else? Oh, yeah, it's hard to be put on the spot like that. There's definitely like
fair.
some lovely soft stuff, that I love. American football, a big Midwest emo fan. I love Fall Out Boy and Paramore. I don't know. Like yeah. I'm not sure what would.
Next
What would
album,
sh-
it'll be mixed in there somewhere.
Oh,
anyway.
definitely. Yeah, my
awesome.
inner emo kid, pop punk will come out. Yeah,
All right, take it away with some more music.
sweet.
Deathtrippa season. Deathtrippa season.
Deathtrippa season.
Deathtrippa. Deathtrippa season.
Deathtrippa season.
Deathtrippa. Deathtrippa season. Deathtrippa season. Deathtrippa season. Deathtrippa season. Deathtrippa season.
You're gonna take me back in. 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 You're looking. Gonna take me back in. You're gonna take me back in. You're gonna take me back in. That's what you want. Hell yeah.
No mai hoki mai ki te Active Live. We've got Deathtrippa here in studio playing for us today. Wow. Taking it away every time. How do you your voice, how do you do that? And now you're just gonna talk normally for us after
Yeah. I mean, I started learning to do like aggressive vocals, just going to hardcore shows as a teenager, and just like I remember there was this band True North which used to exist, and I was talking to the vocalist Jai when I was like 14, 15. I'm like, man, I want to do that. How do you learn? He's just like, I just took the mic at shows and just like did the songs and just like did people's songs and stuff. So I just started doing the same thing. So it started with me just like pushing my head voice, like, and then I used to only be able to do highs, and then of like the last year and a half, I managed to do lows. But yeah, I never really had a technique, which probably wasn't good. I knew you had to push your diaphragm, and then touring America and doing a 10-day run with 9 shows, basically 8
Really?
shows back to back, essentially. I don't know, it was all kind of a blur, but screaming for that many days, it's like, okay, like I really need to take care of my voice and, do vocal warm-ups, drink lots of tea, don't drink or do naughty drugs.
all the good stuff.
Yeah, all the stuff which you want to do, you can't do. I think that's one of the worst bits about being a vocalist. The best bit is you don't have to load in gear. Except for today where I had to, but yeah. So I definitely learned a thing or two. The band who was headlining the tour, Blind Equation, who actually just put out their album today, Death Awaits, which is dope. Yeah, I definitely learned a lot of him, of maintaining your voice. But it was crazy because, I'll be doing all these things, vocal warm-ups, vocal warm-downs, just drinking lots of tea. And then by day 4 or 5, my voice was just shredded. And you'd do vocal warm-ups and you couldn't do like the falsettos. And then he was doing exactly the same things as me, but he was just seamless. Like by day 10, he was like normal, which blew my
Wow.
mind. Like my voice like dipped, I think Florida, which was like date 5, it was like shredded. And then by like day 8 or 9, it got better. So I was like, oh, I could do like another 4 shows or something. But yeah, his was persistent all the way through. And I think that definitely taught me to take care of my voice a bit more than just yell. I think one thing which I dealt with for quite a while was getting really bad headaches from screaming, because you're tensing so much here. And I feel like when you're in a live context, like you have adrenaline and like you want to just push it out. And I think something which I've been trying to like undo over the last couple of months and the last couple of shows I've been doing is just like trying not to tense as hard and knowing that you can get the same volume without tensing, and the same intensity, and you don't have to be screaming as loud as you feel like you should be. But yeah.
Yeah, kind of like technique with any instrument, but one that you don't really think about the same way. Yeah. Do you guys go through heaps of sticks in a set?
I think that's an Otis question. Did you hear that? Do you go through heaps of sticks?
I don't.
Fair. Otis is shy.
Okay, no more questions for Otis. Got it. Noted.
Apart from when it comes to like taking photos.
And you're playing for the first time since your tour at Valhalla tomorrow night.
Yes.
Looking forward to being back on the home turf.
Yeah. Shout outs to Valhalla. I also work there. Tomorrow I'm working at the same time as playing a set. So if you want to buy merch afterwards, come to the bar because I will be selling it behind the bar. So you can pick up a beer or like, Valhalla. I'll give a shout out to Valhalla here. Probably the cheapest drinks in town. And I know New Zealand has a really good binge drinking culture. So, cheap drinks.
So come to the show tomorrow.
Come to the show tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, binge drink responsibly, of course.
Obviously.
But yeah, no, it's gonna be nice. Playing back in Wellington, playing with Blindfolded, which will be awesome. Cool band from Christchurch. They were on the Aaron Simpson show one time. Pretty sick.
Really?
Yeah,
So fun.
playing. They were like the guest band on the Aaron Simpson show. They hate it whenever that's brought up, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
Yeah, you've got to. And what's next for Deathtrippa after this show?
I think we got another couple of shows in the works. I try to keep it pretty sparse with playing shows in Wellington, just because like I know how sick people get of seeing the same act over and over again. I work at a venue, so I feel the same way. Yeah, I'm starting to work on what will probably be an album. The first song we played, there's a new one. Everything else we're playing has been put out, but yeah, just gonna start writing. It's pretty inspiring being on the road in America and seeing lots of cool bands and dope bands in Japan, and yeah, it's just like want to start writing and being creative and doing
Exciting
that.
stuff,
I-
yeah.
I don't know how long it's gonna take me to put it out, but we'll get there. Maybe like 2040, 2042. I don't know, but we'll see.
And so my final question for you today is our little Ask It Forward segment, which you're familiar with, I've gathered. And so from you, I'd like a question that you've never been asked or feel like you should be asked in an interview, which I'll ask next week. But next week's band and last week's band has a question for you as well.
Sweet. Do I hear the question first, or do I ask the question first?
You can choose.
I'll hear the question.
Okay.
And I'll answer that one.
Vera Ellen and co last week they wanted to know your thoughts about playing for exposure. When wouldn't you?
I don't know. I feel like, yeah, if you're playing for like what is playing for exposure even? It's like a promise that like people might show up.
Or
and
kind of like you're not going to get any money from the gig.
I think it depends on the cause. Like if you're not doing like a charity show or something, or like I don't know, like I'll play for free if it's like a house show, if it's for like a good cause and stuff, but like not for like more audience members. I don't know. Musicians should get paid, especially when there's money coming through the door. If it's feasible enough to pay a musician, and usually it will be if you're playing for exposure, because it's like there's going to be a lot of people there. There's probably people who bought tickets. Even if it is to see the headliner, like you still have an opening act. You still can pay them. So like, why shouldn't you? Like, yeah, I don't know. It sucks that there's like people within the music world who feel like they can swindle others and get away with like lowballing people.
Yeah.
Considering like in 2023, there's not a lot of money in the music world anymore, so it's like it'd just be nice if everyone was wholesome and positive and lift everyone up. But nah, that's capitalism, baby. Let's do it.
And so your question for next week.
Who would you rather go on a date with, David Seymour or Christopher Luxon? I've been thinking about it all week.
Okay, perfect. Can't wait to hear their answer.
Same.
Take it away with your last track.
All right, let's do it.
Bleeding out in a state of radio silence that into the empty hours of the day, mesmerized, intoxicated by the lifestyles on display, forever dreaming, knowing feeling like a stranger in your own skin. By into the light they know themselves, consume the best ideals, lie awake, consider your ability to feel something more, forever dreaming, always feeling like a stranger in your own skin. Well, it will get easier today, it'll never be fucking easy.
It won't get easier today.
It'll never be easy. It won't get easier today. I'm stuck and wondering when people start getting tired of.
Deathtrippa.
It won't get easier today. It won't get easier today. It won't get easier today. It'll never be easy.
Thank you.
Kia ora, Deathtrippa, for coming in this afternoon and shaking up the studio. This has been another active live session made with New Zealand on Air. You can catch Deathtrippa tomorrow night at Valhalla. I've been Emilia Kakite.
Active Live. Friday, 3:30. Every week a new band. In the studio. Brought to you by NZ On Air.